it's MoonKrane, and today I thought I'll have some coffee time with you and talk about how I stay grounded during this quarantine, or at least how I try to stay grounded during this quarantine. So when the quarantine started, I wasn't quite ready. Well, I don't think anybody was, but I just kind of spiraled into being a potato in human form, quite honestly. This kind of anxiety-filled, anxious person. And it took me into quite a bad mental space where all I could do was just kind of veg out. And obviously distracting myself with watching TV films. But I did mostly just veg out in front of my computer. And it didn't feel good, but at the same time, I wasn't quite sure what else to do. I was so overwhelmed with everything, and I started a bit earlier than everybody else. I kind of saw the writing on the wall just like a week earlier, and I was like, no. So I stocked up on some food, nothing crazy, and I started to freak out, not gonna lie. The first week, honestly, I was just not able to do anything other than just kind of survive. Which is fine. We are going through collective trauma at the moment, and sometimes that's all we can do. And honestly, I try not to judge myself too hard on how well or unwell I'm handling this situation. But this coffee is so crap. But there came a time when I felt that enough is enough, and I have to do something for me. So if you would like to extend a hand of self-care towards yourself just a little bit, I was hoping this video would help you a little bit to find at least a starting point, because that's all you really need. You don't need this whole regime of do this, this, and that, and then you'll be fine, because it's not true. But if you can find a few key rituals or part of your routine that could ground you a little bit more, that can really nourish you and make you feel like, hey, I've shown up for myself today, that really makes a difference. And it's not always easy to start, and you can't force it. I have a tendency to be like, let's do all of the things. And that's because unless I do all of the things, I feel like I failed humanity and myself, and my life will go to shit. So I pack in as much as I can, and that's not even including all the things I would like it to have. So is this healthy? No, I need to work on that. But I do have a few things that I will focus on. So on days when I'm like, I can't, I will focus on one or two things that are the most important, and that will make the biggest difference for me in terms of that I have shown up for myself today. And you really have to find something that works for you. I cannot stress this enough. You can take inspiration, you can try things out, but only you can know how well it nourishes you in reality. I'm just pushing through and taking each day as it comes. And each day can be so different emotionally as well. I find it so bizarre. One day I'll be completely fine, and the next day I'll just be completely broken. Or within one day I'll go through about 20 different emotions. So that was a long ass intro. So here's 5 of my most important self-care rituals. My biggest non-negotiable for the past 40 days has been yoga. It encompasses so many things that are important to me right now, as in put myself outside of my comfort zone and move my body and check in with my body, check in how I'm feeling, check in how do I feel in my body. It's been such a grounding tool, because even when my mind races, the moment I sit down and press play, I kind of arrive. Even if I'm only there for those 20 minutes that day, it makes such a huge difference to be in the present and to really check in with yourself for that time. And especially now that I move my body way less. I live in an apartment building in the city center. Personally, I do not feel comfortable coming out every single day to go for a run and go for a walk and do whatever. It's just too stressful. It's too anxiety riding for me, which is a big downgrade from what I used to do. And I can really feel it in my body. I can feel how much it's affecting me. And so doing yoga and moving my body, even though it's not as intense, and it's not going to replace walking 10,000 steps every day. And it also builds trust with my body. I do yoga with Adrienne, and it's honestly been quite life-changing for me, because the way she encourages you to listen And if a move isn't right, to go with what you feel and see how your body wants to move. And that's such a different approach that I'm used to, where it's been quite rigid and quite structured and you just follow the rules, which then kind of translates into my daily life, where I trust myself more and I trust my decisions more and I trust myself to veer off the kind of set path or set rules. And it's been really helpful for me to steer off of that. So yoga, if there's anything I do in the day, it's yoga. One and only thing, the most important. Next up is something very different. Not all of it has to be serious. This one definitely isn't. My next one is having an orange in the shower. Yes, a legit piece of fruit in the shower. I cannot recommend it enough. I read about it ages ago, and then somebody on Reddit reminded me that it exists. That's a concept that people do. And I was like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's give it a go. And honestly, it's been the most fun experience I've ever had in the shower. It fits so well. Orange is such a messy fruit, but like being in the shower allows you just to go wild with it. You don't have to worry about like spilling anything or getting on your hands and getting all sticky because you're in the shower. So get it all over yourself. It doesn't matter. Smush it in your face. Just devour it. And it's been such a fun, freeing, wild experience for me. Ripping this piece of fruit apart and then just shoving it in my mouth. It's been fucking amazing. I cannot recommend it enough. Just even if you're not gonna do it regularly, just try it once. Another one that's really important for me is journaling. The journaling quite honestly saved my life last year, and or at least saved me from going insane. So that's something. Even if it's just one sentence, sometimes I'll write up 3 pages, sometimes I'll write up 2 lines. It's mostly in the act of checking in with yourself, having that moment of sitting down and being, hey, is there anything I want to explore today? Is there anything I want to have a think about, or anything that's going on that I want to talk over and think over and mull over or whatever? You don't have to write pages and write the deepest secrets of your life, but taking that act of taking a moment to check in with how you are and how you're feeling is so important to me, and so important to keep in check of what's going on. And you're not always going to be honest with yourself. I am so full of shit. I am so full of shit sometimes, but I can feel that I'm full of shit, and eventually there will come a day when I'll be like, okay, let's just face it and go with it. And if I'm experiencing some heavier emotions or intense emotions, I'll sit down and actually speak to my emotions. The other day I was feeling intense anger. So intense that I was actually crying from anger. And I was like, okay, this is super intense and I don't even know how to channel it at the moment. So I sat down and I was like, hey, anger, what's up? Which is a tip from Amber Ray. She says, literally, sit down and ask your emotion, what's it doing here? What does it want you to know? And I've tried out with a few emotions, and it's been quite surprising. It's been quite a journey to find out that all of the emotions you're having are here to literally protect you. Yeah, it just allows me to stay connected to myself, which is, for me, it's quite hard because I tend to disassociate very easily and very quickly, especially in current times. So giving myself the opportunity to be like, hey, what's up, has been very invaluable to kind of staying grounded and staying in the present instead of spiraling out of control completely. Then I've got reading. So the previous 3 were very much about staying in the present and staying connected and in the now. And this one is very much all about escapism for me. Reading is my kind of allowed and preferred way to escape into like a different life and different world. I feel like the act of just reading and having your eyes on the page is so different than having your eyes on the screen. It's a very different dynamic. I guess maybe it's because so involved with your imagination and getting so immersed that even though you're just looking at a dead piece of tree with some ink on it, you're just basically hallucinating the entire time. And something about that you just can't replace with TV. And then finally, I've got skincare. I have never been as soft as I am right now, not gonna lie. I have lathered myself in so many lotions and so many creams I cannot even, like, on daily basis in my normal life, I cannot stand it, because it's like, if I'm covered in cream, I'm like, get it off of me, please, dry, go away. But now I'm like, well, I've got so much time, and all I'm doing is basically just spending my time in bed. It doesn't matter. And obviously my face as well, like, I lather that up like crazy. Even though it still wants to be an absolute dick and break out all of the time, but it's fine. I don't mind. Who's gonna see anyway right now? Who's gonna see? Nobody. It's fine. Whatever. But I literally nourish my skin with lotions and moisturizers, and can you get any more literal with nourishing yourself than that? I hope this will give you some idea of what you can try to find what nourishes you and keeps you being present with yourself and present with your body and your mind, and keeps you grounded in the present moment, and makes you feel like, hey, I've shown up for myself today. I'll leave a list down below in the description of other suggestions that other people try. Again, you don't need complicated routines. You do not need 10 steps every single day that will keep you in check. Even today, the only things I've done was yoga and the orange in the shower. And that's all I could do today because I woke up late, and these were my non-negotiables. Some checking in with my body and some fun in the shower. And it turned out okay, and it turned out like a good day where I was productive, and I sat down and shown up for myself in more ways than just checking in with my body, but also checking in with what I want to do and how I want my day to go. But yeah, it's really important to check in with yourself and see what creates that happiness for you in the everyday life, and that it is up to us to really make that happen right now. Again, if all you can do is just to survive today, that's fine too. Some days I just honestly just do yoga, and then I just veg out and I'm just gone. Because some days that's all I can handle, and some days I can do way more, and that's fine. We're gonna get through it somehow, but there's no point in leaving this hating ourselves and being hard on ourselves. I have so much family and friends that are just so hard on themselves and how they're handling the situation, when what you have to remember is that this is not something we've gone through before, really. And there's no blueprint on, hey, how to handle mentally all of the shit that's going on right now, because everybody is experiencing something so different. We're experiencing the same situation, but not all of us experience it in the same way. And yeah, making the most of it is very privileged. I'm extremely privileged that right now I can focus on how I can stay sane and just focus on me. Not everybody has the privilege of making the best of the situation. Anyway, that was my coffee time. Ugh. I really miss good coffee. I was thinking of buying some coffee things, like, I don't know, a coffee machine or a grinder or something to make better coffee, but it's so expensive. It is so expensive to get into coffee. How do you people do it? I'm just gonna keep to my shitty coffee from the store, because it's not gonna happen. So anyway, I hope I give you some inspiration to try your things. Like I said, I'll leave some more ideas down in the description below, and I hope you have a lovely day. I'll see you in the next one.